Okay, it is 7:07 Eastern. The fights are just about to start. This is DGen MMA Bets. Trying to show y'all how to make some money. So, I'm not going to go through my picks. I'm going to say that Poatan Alex Pereira is my favorite for this card. And I think that Hoofy is the lock of this card. When it comes to Hoofy versus Bobby Green, real simple. Bobby Green doesn't have much of a chin to begin with. He's a little bit over the hill, fights with his hands down. He gets too arrogant in the fights and gets too distracted, whereas Hoofy is just a killer. I love his feints. I love the way that he slips and throws check hooks with power. I like his style in terms of getting a knockout here, to be honest with you, but just him by decision. A lot of people criticize his last fight against the Mexican dude. The name's not coming to my head. I watched the fight like 10 times. He absolutely rocked this dude in the first 2 rounds and realized, like, hey, listen, the third round, everybody's criticizing, oh my God, he couldn't put him down. He did nothing in the third round. The fight was already won. There's no need to sustain damage. You know, it was a clear decision. I call them probably 10-8 rounds in the first 2 rounds. So I think Hoofy's just going to run through Bobby Green again. Poatan versus Ankalaev. You can't say it's a championship fight. It's a 5-round fight. You cannot say that it's a lock, but I'm confident. And putting money on Poatan is my biggest bet. Monetarily, both money invested and money paid out. A lot of my parlays end with either Poatan or the fight to start round 2 as insurance, and also like a double payday. Simply put, Ankalaev is the laziest wrestler in UFC, and everybody thinks he's going to be able to secure 3 takedowns and win a decision or something. He's never submitted anybody, and Poatan has never been submitted. At least I don't think so. And yeah, so let's go over my picks real quick. Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz has yet to prove his worth. It's a UFC debut for Jordan Santos. I think he's crafty enough on the feet and patient enough to pull out a victory. Not sure about the knockout. Don't know about his Jordan Santos ground skills, but I do think he's live for a pick here. Next fight on the card, Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. Listen, Francis Marshall, good cardio, good physical person, you know. But I think the only way that he gets this done is with wrestling. And there's only a few fighters, a few styles of wrestling where I think that wrestling is absolutely dominant. You know, names like Marab, the elite Dagestani guys, and I don't think that American wrestlers are as good as they used to be. 5 years ago, American wrestling was dominant, but people are learning the takedown defense, and the judge ruling changed something like a year ago, and points are not taken. Takedowns are just viewed as, you know, like change of position, like a reversal of position. They're not mega point scorers like they used to be. All right, Carlos Leal, the biggest favorite on the card. I think he beats Morono, though. You know, Morono has such a soft style where he shies away from engagements, that he could squeak out a decision. You never know with these judges. He could squeak out a decision, but I still think Leal just runs right through him. I think if I recall correctly, his last fight was on short notice, and he did phenomenally. I believe he got robbed of a decision. And that's why I say Alex Morono just has that style that makes you want to punch him in the face. First dog of the night, Bruno Pereira. I really think he rights his wrongs. He just fought Abus Magomedov. Now he gets to fight, I think, a slight step down in Arman Petrosian. And I think he takes it. The next one, I think it might be the first fight that I get incorrect. And that's Ray Saruya. I'm really impressed by this guy's wrestling. I like the way that he shoots takedowns. He's really quick and he's different. In my opinion, the Japanese wrestling is just different than American wrestling. And I don't think that Joshua Van is ready for it. Because people will cite the last guy, Durden, that he fought. He was an American wrestler. This is my point that I'm bringing up. I think the Japanese wrestling will be too much for Van. I think his 80% takedown defense, in this case, statistics do lie, and his jiu-jitsu will get tested. Ray Saruya plus 128 underdog. The next one, Hoofi. Self-explanatory. I already explained it before. Next pick, Amanda Lemos. The reason that I think that Lemos will beat Jandy Roba is simply because, when it comes to women, age, as we're seeing, right? We're seeing in the fights most recently, age does not play as much of a factor in women's fights as it does in men. And I can slightly attest to that. I'm 36 years old, and I spar with kids who are, about the same age as Lucindo. I can tell you that they're faster than me, but they are no way, shape, or form as strong as me. I'm so much stronger, and that just, strength takes time to build, and that just comes with maturity. And if we look at Lucindo, she tries to muscle her way through the takedowns and the exchanges. If you watched Lemos fight versus, Lucindo is not Jandy Roba. Lucindo is not Mackenzie Dern. Just not. And I think even if Lemos gets taken down, she'll just sweep, reverse, whatever it takes, and she'll get right back up. Much better striker on the feet, too. I like her physicality. Much more physical than Lucindo's previous opponent, Marina Rodriguez. So next we go on to Bahamondes versus Jalen Turner. Another dog that I'm not entirely confident in. He has had, people are saying he has confidence issues. I think it's arrogance issues. I don't think he shies away from fights. I watched the Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner fight about twice this week, and wow, what a fight. If Jalen Turner can bring that version of himself, I don't think Bahamondes is technical enough, and his defense is bad. I don't think he's technical enough to make Jalen Turner curl up into a ball, as people think is going to happen. Either way, the fight's going to be just pure violence. Speaking of pure violence, we have Justin Gaethje. Coming off about 1 year after that knockout versus Max Holloway, and he's fighting short notice Rafael Fiziev, who he already faced, and he had won a decision. It was a very close fight. Fiziev has a knee injury and a long layoff, and I just think that this is Justin Gaethje's fight. He's going to come in more calculated. He's still the king of violence. I really don't think that knockout affected him as much as people think. It looked terrible, but it was the end of the literal final second, which, by the way, I had an inside distance on that Max Holloway Justin Gaethje fight, and that's my favorite bet that I've ever won to date, was that inside the distance. Oh, it just, it was a poetic ending. I think the king of violence here, I think he pulls off a victory. Like I said, that knockout was quite gruesome. You see him land on his face. He took a quite long time to revive him. He was kind of convulsing a little bit. But I really don't think it's as gruesome as Bryce Mitchell getting knocked out by Josh Emmett. That one was terrible. That one was really bad, and I think it was just more due to. I think the Justin Gaethje fight was due more to fatigue. He was both. Justin Gaethje was ready to collapse, even not getting hit. So I just think that the ending was quite dramatic and possibly overlooked. Last one, Poatan. Already talked about it. So if you put all these in a parlay, it comes out to plus 26,352. A $3 bet will get you $790.59. Now, I do have a slight alternative. So the ones that I'm rather tentative about, which would be the Gaethje fight, the Turner fight, the Lemos fight, Saruya and Pereira fight. We've got fight to start round 2, fight to start round 2. You see the odds change in it. And then I added, in addition, because you can do same game parlay in these fights, Jordan Santos and Myron Santos fight to start round 2. $2 into 52. I'm not confident with it. I didn't like the odds, but I threw that in there. What this means that is if this one hits, this one hits, this one hits, this one can hit without this one hitting. Now here's my long shot parlay. It's a big payout. We got Leal at negative 750, Hoofy at negative 550, Pereira that should be KO or points at plus 155, Saruya by sub. I really like this play. Like I said, I'm impressed by this dude's wrestling. He almost got the twister in combat, and that should speak volumes about this guy's grappling ability. Plus 600. Then I have Pereira money line and fight to start round 2. The reason why I like fight to start round 2 is because Ankalaev is a counterpuncher. He plays it safe. Pereira isn't exactly a counterpuncher, but he's, that's like his second. He likes to move forward. He likes to knock people out, but he tends to collect information and chop the legs early on. So that's why I like fight to start round 2. I do have bets at fight to start round 3, fight to start round 4, fight to start round 5, and it decreases as it gets because I think this fight can end early. But the odds for that one is 5-3-7-0. This is like my long shot parlay. If you want, you can add Justin Gaethje in that one. I think I'm gonna do that right when I'm done. I'm gonna add Gaethje to this. I really like the pick on Gaethje as an underdog. I'm surprised at how many underdogs I picked, but if you look, none of the underdogs are that high. Plus 124, Justin Gaethje, he's a veteran. So can you really call him an underdog, or are the bookies, the matchmakers, messing with your perception? Same thing with Jalen Turner. You can't call him a veteran, but he's battle tested. Plus 108. Lemos, veteran. Plus 116. Saruya, you could say, is my Saruya and Pereira are, I guess you could say, the two underdogs, but one could argue that if Pereira can improve his cardio, then there's no reason for him to be an underdog versus Arman Tsarukyan. And those are my picks. Full card send. The odds were so much better when we had the other two fights, but full card send, trying to make some money.